right, we'll get things going with Evan Bland.
Morning, Will.
Morning.
Uh, just curious, this being the last of these pods that you guys have gone through, what have you learned so far this year, just in terms of how you navigate one of those weekends, whether that's on the field stuff, behind the scenes, between games? What have you kind of taken away? Excuse me, taken away that might help for this weekend?
Yeah, just from there's more work typically ahead of time from a scouting standpoint. Just having to deal with two different teams, it's almost like a tournament that way. This one we happen to play two teams that we've already played before, so we have a little bit of information already built in on that. But yeah, it's knowing that it's 4 9-inning games over the course of the weekend, and having I guess just the what's worked and what hasn't as far as your pitching and just trying to keep guys fresh offensively and those type of things. It's just something that you don't normally have in a normal year, as you said, with 4 games. And so we're able to do that a couple times early to kind of get a feel for what it was going to be like. And again, at the end of the day, it's still baseball. You still have to win the game that's in front of you. I think if you start to worry too much about holding things back because you have 4 games or because you have another opponent, I think you get yourself in trouble. So, in a lot of ways, it's very much the same, where you put your best foot forward to win the game that you have in front of you, and that goes. I mean, you're going to throw your best guys to win that game, and then after that, you just kind of pick up the pieces and figure out where you're going to go from there. But yeah, just I would say probably navigating the staff from a standpoint of maybe the fourth starter standpoint. Are you going to hold a guy back? We've done it both ways already this year, where we've held a guy back, and we've also done it where we've just kind of done a TBA and just staffed it. So I think those are maybe some things you take from it. But for us, it's just go find a way to win the first game and then figure it out from there.
How are you guys looking to approach that number 4 starter spot this weekend?
We'll go TBA. Yeah, we'll go TBA this weekend, and just see who hasn't been used the first 3 games, and decide from there.
Chris Bassinet.
Kind of in that same vein, Will, does going through those pods, has that changed the way you think about a potential regional, how you set yourself up for that, or has it given you any different thoughts about how you might do one of those?
Yeah, I think you take some things from that. Like I said, just maybe with the pitching, how you want to line that up. If you're going to use your best guys to win the first game, and maybe there's guys in there that could be potential starters that you use to do that, then you have to kind of reevaluate things. But yeah, I think the best case scenario to get to a regional is to win the first 3 games. That's obviously the best case, but at least put yourself in the driver's seat by winning the first 2. After that, you're going to be in a bit of scramble mode anyway. So, again, it's just trying to figure out maybe who could handle the potential 4 starter spot, and also just what's going to look like for your staff if you just staff it on a certain day as well, and who can handle just saying, hey, all we ask is 3 outs right here. Or go get 6 outs for us. Maybe those type of things that you can lean on from the experience that you had with the 4-game sets this year.
Back to Evan Bland.
I wanted to ask you about Chance Roush. Well, in hindsight, now that a lot of this season has played out, how important has his addition been to the team, just in terms of him stepping in and filling that Saturday role for you guys this year?
Yeah, we wouldn't be where we are without him. There's no doubt about it in my mind. He's just been a veteran presence for us. Been a guy who has seen a lot of college baseball, has a lot of good information for our players. He's a guy that, and because he's played a lot of college baseball, he picks up on things, pays attention in the dugout, whether it be to our team or the other team, things that he can make us aware of as well. And he's just, I consider him a guy that would be a great coach if he wants to do after he's done playing. So those guys are always good to have around from a leadership standpoint. He's eating up innings for us. You know what you're going to get from him each time out. And like I said, this past weekend, I don't know how he navigated through his outing, because he just didn't really have anything going for him. And you just can point to something as simple as, I think it was the 5th inning to lead off the inning, the play that he makes on the chopper. on the right side, where I don't know that there's another pitcher that I've ever coached that could make a type of play like that. And it maybe not show up as a huge play when you're just kind of in the moment, but you look back at it and go, man, we were down. I believe we were already down 3-0 there. If that leadoff hitter gets on, that's the top of their order. The middle of the order's coming up. That game could be totally different. So those are kind of maybe some small things that you don't necessarily think of that he does. That kind of stuff just shows up, and that's why he's been a winning pitcher over the course of his career.
Can you think of an example of something that he noticed in your dugout or the other dugout that helped in a game this season or helped out you, just helped the cause?
Yeah, I mean, I think he just certainly pays attention to the opponent's lineup the day prior to when he's going to take the mound and when he's watching Cade pitch on Fridays or game one of the series. I mean, he's really paying attention to what's going on and picking up on things with the hitters, and whether it be video, maybe some things defensively, just little subtle things like, hey, did you notice that the shortstop was covering when we were running right there? Just things that he pays attention to that you may not have that type of dialogue with your typical, student athlete, I guess, at times where, but I will say this, we've had a lot of that on this team where guys are maybe not playing, that they're just locked in and they're helping out in a lot of different ways. And I would certainly put Chance in that category. Just, hey, have you noticed that this pitcher's got this sequence going on the mound? Just little stuff like that.
Chris Bassinet.
Just kind of a house cleaning item. Well, there's no way you guys can make up that other Northwestern game, is there? It's over and done with.
I mean, we're running out of weeks here now, playing the 4-game weekend this weekend. And then, next week, there's just not a lot of time on their end of it either. I mean, they've got, I guess, 5 or 6 games that they've had to make up at this point. So yeah, I don't know that that's in the cards, with the short amount of time that we have left.
Kevin Sukes.
Hey, Will, the teams at the top of the Big Ten Conference, from your vantage point, how much separation is there? Do you feel like you're all fairly even in terms of skill level?
Well, I haven't seen Michigan play in person yet, obviously, and going into it, pretty consensus that, Michigan and Indiana were probably 2 of the top teams in the league. And then, I think Maryland and Iowa were picked pretty high as well preseason. And if you just look at the returning roster and the returning talent, I mean, I think those teams have all, been very close. Ohio State, you put in that category as well. I think it's pretty thin. It's pretty razor thin. I think you look at the history, though, of the standings here, it's pretty typical, though, where you go into the last couple of weeks with not a whole lot of separation at the top. And there's a lot of teams in the middle that are right there together as well. And I think that's the case this year. I think there's, in a typical year, if we're playing non-conference games, I would say there's probably at least 6 teams in our league that are very much capable of being regional type teams. And when I say that, you're looking at, look no further than our pod this weekend with Ohio State. They're pitching. We're going to face as good a stuff this weekend as you're going to face in any tournament, any regional, in any part of the country this weekend, as far as guys that have plus stuff on the mound, athletes, out there on the field and those type of things. So I think this may have been a record year, for our league. And hopefully we can still have a good showing in terms of number of teams that get to the NCAAs, because it is very talented, very deep this year. And, there's some teams that have played at a very high level.
Okay, 2 more. Evan Bland.
Will, you mentioned you played these 2 opponents before this weekend. What does that allow you guys to do? Like, can you go deeper into the scouting? Does that allow you to focus more on yourselves since you've seen them, or what can you do differently since you have seen those guys before?
Well, I think you already have kind of the basis for a scouting report put together based on, Ohio State we played obviously very early in the season, so things changed significantly over the course of the season. Indiana we've played more recently, so just as far as probably from the amount of man hours that get put into an actual printed out scouting report for Coach Marcuzzo and Evan Hellman and some of those guys in our program. and obviously all the coaches watching video, you feel like you have a bit of familiarity there already, and then maybe just watching additional video gives you some confirmation on what you'd seen before, or maybe you look at it and go, man, this guy's really made an adjustment. So, I think it's a unique year that way, like you said, where you don't usually play a team multiple times over the course of a season. We're all going to be familiar with each other. And like I said, this weekend, these teams are all playing for something, very talented teams. And, it's going to be a dogfight in each and every game.
All right, last one, Mike Babcock.
Coach, is it frustrating as a coach to see the Big Ten not get the respect nationally? It doesn't seem like, when you look at rankings and so forth, that you said there are good teams in the Big Ten, and yet it doesn't seem like nationally it's getting the respect that it probably deserves.
I don't know that frustrating would be the right word. I honestly don't. When I say I don't really care about the rankings or pay attention to it, I mean, I don't. I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, it's people's opinions on a team. Now, probably the frustrating part is just knowing that we didn't have the ability to play a non-conference schedule. That would be the frustrating part, where you don't have the ability to compare across conferences, across leagues, to build resumes. That part of it was frustrating when we found that out before the season. But since the season's gone along, I could care less what anybody else's opinion is on our team or anybody else's team for that matter. You just got to go win. You got to go play good. And you got to put a product on the field that's worthy of being a postseason team. And we knew that's what the deal was going to be going into it. So haven't had a single ounce of frustration or a single second of thought of it since our season actually started. Perception at this point is reality. I mean, we haven't played a non-conference schedule, but we've got some teams that are really good teams, and I think there's been enough people that have seen the conference, just in the Midwest, the coverage, and maybe nationally, where you can look at a team and go, man, this is a regional type team, and just go from there. But as far as perception nationally, can't control that. Just go play. And, we've got some really good teams, and hopefully people will recognize that.
Okay, thanks everybody. That's it for today. Talk to you next Wednesday.